So yesterday I got a very important email from Vanguard that is going to change the life of many investors in the UK. So it says here in this email, upcoming changes to our terms and conditions. And one of the things that's changing that is in big is that Vanguard is introducing a new £4 a month minimum account fee for those of you who have invested less than £32,000. Now, of course, Vanguard has never been a free platform. As you can see, you had always had to pay 0.15% as a platform fee, which, is capped at £375 per year. But of course, unless you have a lot of money in Vanguard, you're still going to be paying 0.15% of everything basically you have as your investments. And now on top of that, you're going to be paying a £4 monthly fee. Now, since this email, I've seen so many people online, talking about moving their platform away from Vanguard to these other platforms that have zero platform fees, and other fees that Vanguard has, it doesn't have them. So in this video, I'm going to explore what would happen if you wanted to leave Vanguard and go to another platform like Trading 212, who would probably already have the majority of the funds that you were already investing in with Vanguard. So Vanguard, in fact, was one of the first platforms that I used when I began my investing journey and when I actually started this YouTube channel. As you can see, I actually did use Vanguard and my personal rate of return is 20.48%. The last transaction was me selling all my S&P 500 holdings. So it's important that one of the most popular funds on Vanguard is the VUSA, the S&P 500. As you can see, currently I only have 2 pence within my Vanguard account, and I've read the terms and conditions, and the £4 monthly fee will not affect me as I don't have any investments, but it might be just best in case to just close the account. Now, as you can see here, this is my Trading 212 general account. You can see currently my account value is over £22,000 and I have a whole lot more in my ISA. Now, if you would like to sign up to Trading 212 and receive a free fractional share worth up to £100 to begin your journey in investing, then all you have to do is to use the link in my description box down below. Alternatively, if you're new to Trading 212, you've signed up less than 10 days ago, but haven't received a free share, all you have to do is click the 3 horizontal line menu over here. Scroll all the way down until you see the use promo code section. Go into this menu and here enter my code JUBAIR and you should get a free fractional share. Anyway, if you are new to Trading 212, it might come as quite a shock that they actually have a fully operating, mobile app that you can use. Now, before we go into the Trading 212 app, I want to compare it with Vanguard in terms of fees. So with Trading 212, you're not paying that 0.15% platform fee, and neither will you be paying that £4 a month fee just to have your account. As you can see, there is no trading commission and there's no custody fee. When investing in, stocks outside of the UK, there will be a foreign exchange fee of 0.15%, but you can keep many foreign currencies in your wallet. Now, of course, when it comes to fees, it's always best that you check out the fees for yourself because other fees might apply. Okay, so here I am on the Trading 212 menu, and it's very different from Vanguard because Vanguard, you can only invest into Vanguard funds. You can't actually invest into individual stocks. Now with Trading 212, you can very much so invest into individual stocks. For example, I have a few shares, in Rolls-Royce, 33 shares here. You can see that it's up since investing by 251%. Very hard to find a Vanguard fund that will be up the same amount. Probably impossible to find that in the same time period. But anyway, there are pros and cons of picking your own stocks, and in this video, I'm not going to go through them. As you can see, I currently have 2 Vanguard funds that I already invest in very small amounts on my Trading 212 invest account. As you can see, the first one is the Vanguard Germany All Cap, and the second one is Vanguard S&P 500 DIST, which is the VUSA. Now, the crazy thing about this is that I'm getting the exact funds that I would have got from Vanguard, but without paying that platform fee or that new monthly fee, which will come into effect on the 31st of January for Vanguard users. Now, if I go into this one, for example, you can see this is the same fund. However, there are so many advantages of using Trading 212 instead of Vanguard apart from the fees. Now, the best thing, in my opinion, is that you can sell your funds whenever and it will execute execute real time. I know with Vanguard how long it can take to sell out a fund, and if you want to, for example, sell at a specific time with Vanguard or a specific price, you're going to be paying over £10 every single time you do that. With trading 212, you're not going to have to pay anything because there are no commissions when buying or selling. Now, there are some advanced menus too. You can sell your shares at whatever price that you are willing to pay for. For example, if I go into limit here and set my price, I want to only sell it if it goes up to £100, and then I can actually use that as a sell order. So if it hits £100, it will sell. Similarly, you can do the same with buying. So for example, if you wanted to buy 20 shares, but only if it ever dropped to, let's say, £70, you can actually do that. And if it hits £70 and there are enough shares to be sold, then you will be getting it at £70. Amazing things that you cannot do on Vanguard for the most part, or even if you pay extra, you can't get all this control over buying and selling. Now, of course, for longer term investors, if you're used to Vanguard, you probably won't care too much about buying and selling. But I'm telling you right now, when it comes to retiring and when it comes time to sell off your monthly shares or whatever it is for your income, getting the best price for the day can make a huge difference. For example, hundreds of pounds depending on how much you want to withdraw. Now, if I go into the magnifying glass over here and into the search menu, we can type in Vanguard. We can see that Trading 212 offers a whole load of Vanguard funds, and these are ETFs, which means they can be bought and sold throughout the day when the market is open, as opposed to index funds where you can buy and sell them only once a day. Now, of course, our most popular fund, the Vanguard S&P 500, is available on Trading 212. As you can see, we can go in there. Very easy to buy and sell, and any upcoming dividends will be shown here. For example, on the 27th of December, that's when you would be paid if you had held these Vanguard shares, on market open on the 12th of December. Buying right now will not entitle you for that dividend, just saying. In addition to that, Trading 212 has an amazing platform where there is a huge community behind investing, whether you are a beginner investor or very advanced level. You can talk to other like-minded people. Not something I personally would recommend anyone to look into and gather any financial advice, because that's not its purpose. But you can read up on events that have happened on Vanguard and things like that to give you a bit more awareness of what's going on the scene. Furthermore, you do have pricing alerts. If you're into that sort of thing, you can put in 10% or whatever you want. You can change it, for example, if it goes up or down by 8% or whatever you want to put in here, it will give you a nice price alert, hinting you to, if you want to buy more, that's what exactly you can do. There's also some very useful statistics that we have here, for example, the 52-week range and things like that. But of course, for a long-term investor, you might not be interested in that. Now, in addition to the Vanguard S&P 500 distributing, you also have the accumulating version, which is pretty much the same thing, but instead of dividends being paid out, they're given back into the fund. Bear in mind, if you are outside of an ISA, you still do have to pay dividends tax if you exceed your thresholds. I'm not a tax advisor or anything like that, but it's best, if you are exceeding these thresholds, to maybe contact an accountant. You also have Vanguard funds such as the FTSE All-World, a very popular fund here. As you can see, very easy to buy. You can also see the graph of the 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, 1 year maximum. For Vanguard investors, this might be a bit too much, too complicated, but I feel like Trading 212 balances really well between being simple and having advanced features. For example, if you really wanted to, you can add candlesticks, although most of you might not want that. There's also a menu over here that you can go into that will give you really advanced features to look at the past performance, indicators, all sorts of stuff. You can also draw your own arrows, but again, not the focus of this video. Now, we also have the VHYL here, the Vanguard FTSE All-World High Dividend Yield, which is a distributing fund which picks basically around the world really good dividend paying companies, or at least what Vanguard thinks is good, and they pay out, dividends, and there's some growth in that too. The Vanguard FTSE All-World Distributing, VWRL, I have been investing a lot in that. As you can see, it's in my favorite. You also have things such as the FTSE 100 from Vanguard, the Vanguard S&P 500 VUAA, Vanguard UK Gilt, Vanguard US Corporate Bonds, Vanguard S&P 500 VUAA, the Vanguard FTSE All-World ACC VWCE. As you can see, there is a huge list of Vanguard funds. For example, Vanguard FTSE Emerging Markets, Vanguard FTSE Developing World, FTSE 100, FTSE Emerging Markets. The list just goes on and on. I would really recommend, to download the app for yourself and check if your funds are here. Now, one thing that you may have overlooked as a Vanguard investor is that, Vanguard isn't the only provider of ETFs ETFs that track, many different markets all over the world. Now with Trading 212, for example, if you wanted to invest into something, for example, again, the S&P 500, there are a lot of different providers, not just Vanguard. For example, we have iShares here, a very big player in the market. We have WisdomTree, we have Invesco, we have SPDR, and the list goes on. And in fact, if you have just been a Vanguard investor, you might have been very close-minded to these other fund providers, which would provide you pretty much the exact same fund, but often with lower fees. Now, the best part about investing on Trading 212 or investing outside of Vanguard is if Vanguard wanted to increase their prices for, the Vanguard S&P 500, currently the total expense ratio is 0.07%. And so is, for example, the comparable, the iShares version will be the same. So if Vanguard increased their fees on that, then iShares will be lower, and then everyone would just go on to the iShares version. So it's very unlikely that Vanguard are going to increase their prices on their ETFs because, of course, why would anyone stay with them for that? For example, if you want to invest into the S&P 500, iShares will offer pretty much the same thing. You can even go in and compare what the holdings are, the sectors and the countries for S&P 500. They'll be very similar. You can see the total expense ratio is the same. So for long-term investors, maybe Vanguard was never even the best option. Companies like BlackRock and iShares are very comparable. So why pay the Vanguard tax? So make sure to check out some of my other videos and I'll see you in the next video.